Company dinners were always a big deal for me. Suits pressed, shoes polished, every detail perfect. That Saturday was no different, except this time I had Scarlet on my arm. My girlfriend of 18 months. She looked stunning in a red dress that turned heads the moment we walked in. At first, everything went smoothly. She laughed at the right jokes, complimented the right people, and even charmed my boss with a comment about his tie. I felt proud, thought this is it. She belongs here with me. But then the glasses of wine kept coming. 1 turned to 3, 3 turned to 5. I saw the shift in her eyes, the looseness in her voice. Scarlet didn't just get tipsy, she got loud. She started telling stories. Stories about me. At first, harmless ones. "You guys should see him trying to cook," she slurred, waving her glass. "He once burned spaghetti." Everyone laughed politely, but my chest tightened. Then she kept going. Stories about my clumsiness, about the time I locked myself out of my apartment, about how I once spilled coffee all over my work laptop. My colleagues chuckled, but I saw the smirks, the raised eyebrows. Scarlet wasn't done. "Oh. And when he's nervous, he sweats through his shirt. Like really sweats." She mimed, wiping her forehead. My face burned hotter than her words. I wanted to disappear. I leaned over, whispering sharply, "Scarlet, enough." She waved me off, laughing. "Relax. If you can't handle me, just say so." The table erupted in awkward laughter. My boss coughed into his napkin. My coworkers exchanged glances. I sat there frozen, a fake smile plastered on my face while inside, humiliation chewed me alive. The rest of the dinner blurred. I don't even remember dessert. I just remember her laugh echoing like nails on glass, and the pitying looks from people I'd worked years to earn respect from. When it finally ended, I drove her home in silence. She hummed along to the radio, blissfully unaware. When I parked, she leaned over and kissed my cheek. "That was fun," she giggled. I stared straight ahead. "Scarlet," I said flatly, "I can't handle you." She laughed, assuming it was another joke. Yeah, you love me." But this time I didn't laugh. I didn't even look at her. I just got out of the car, walked her to the door, and left. Her confusion followed me down the driveway, but I didn't turn back. Because in that moment, I knew. Words weren't enough. She wouldn't believe me until I showed her, and what I did next left her absolutely speechless. The next morning, I woke up with a knot in my stomach. My phone buzzed with emails, meeting reminders, the usual Monday chaos. But one subject line froze me cold. Saturday night follow-up. It was from a client. I clicked it open with shaky hands. The words were polite, but sharp. "We look forward to working with you, but perhaps next time you'll bring a more professional guest." My heart sank. My stomach churned. Scarlet's laughter replayed in my head like a cruel soundtrack. I went into the office, shoulders stiff, bracing for whispers, and whispers there were. As I passed desks, I caught the glances, saw the smirks, heard the muffled chuckles. My boss didn't mention it directly, but his tone in our meeting was clipped, his eyes harder than usual. The respect I'd built suddenly felt fragile, like glass one step away from shattering. At lunch, a coworker nudged me with a smirk. "Man, your girlfriend is a riot." It wasn't a compliment. It was pity disguised as humor. I forced a laugh, but inside I was dying. Meanwhile, Scarlet texted me like nothing had happened. "Had so much fun Saturday. You were suey uptight, though. Don't worry, everyone loved me." I stared at the screen, jaw tight. Loved you. Though they tolerated you. And now they looked at me differently because of it. That night, when I got home, she was sprawled on the couch, scrolling her phone, wine glass in hand. Babe, she smiled, as if she hadn't detonated a bomb in my career. "We need to talk," I said, my voice flat. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, here we go. You're mad because I told a few funny stories? Lighten up. If you can't handle me, just admit it." Those words again. "If you can't handle me." They hung in the air like poison. I took a deep breath. "Scarlet, I already told you. I can't handle you." She laughed, thinking I was playing along. "Sure you can." But she didn't notice me walk past her. Didn't notice me open the closet in the hallway where my suitcase sat already packed. I'd done it the night before after dropping her off. Clothes folded neatly, essentials tucked away. A plan forming in my mind while she slept. Her laughter died when she saw me wheel it out. Wait, what are you doing? I met her eyes for the first time since Saturday. What you asked for? Her smile faltered. What you wanted independence? You wanted me to stop holding you back? You wanted me to admit I can't handle you? So I am. You win, Scarlet. The wine glass trembled in her hand. You're not serious. But I was. And what came next would make her realize it wasn't just talk. This wasn't a fight. This was the end. Scarlet's voice climbed as she scrambled off the couch. You're overreacting. Everyone laughed. It wasn't that bad, Scarlet, I said calmly. My reputation isn't a toy. You humiliated me in front of clients who decide my future. That's not just embarrassing, it's destructive. She threw her hands up. So what? I was having fun. Sorry for not being your perfect little accessory. Her words cut, but they also clarified something I hadn't wanted to admit. She didn't respect me. Not as a partner, not as a man trying to build something. She wanted to be adored for the chaos she brought, not accountable for the damage it caused. I pulled my suitcase to the door. Her face fell when the wheels bumped against the hardwood. Wait, not actually leaving, babe. Stop. You're being dramatic. No, I said. For once, I'm not being dramatic. I'm being done. Her eyes narrowed. So you're just walking out? Thrown away a year and a half? For what? Because I told your coworkers you burned toast? I paused, hand on the doorframe. No, Scarlet. Because you don't understand the difference between laughing with someone and laughing at them. And I'm not sticking around to be your punchline. Her jaw dropped. You'll regret this, maybe I admitted. But at least I'll regret it with dignity intact. I walked out, leaving her standing in the doorway. Mascara smudged, anger bubbling. I didn't slam the door. I didn't need to. The quiet click said everything. That night I checked into a hotel, slept better than I had in months. No constant buzzing from her late-night TikToks, no wine bottles clinking as she poured another glass. Just silence. Peace. The next morning, my phone lit up with a flood of messages. Where are you? This isn't funny. I didn't mean it like that. You're being so sensitive. Please come home, we can talk. The irony wasn't lost on me. Now I was the one she couldn't handle. But I didn't respond. Instead, I called my building manager. By the end of the day, the locks were changed. Scarlet still had some clothes there, but I wasn't about to let her storm back in and turn my place into a battlefield. 2 days later, she showed up outside my office. Red dress again, like she thought charm could erase everything. I stood in the lobby, watching her argue with security. My colleagues passed by, whispering, the same colleagues who'd laughed uneasily at her stories just days ago. And then it hit. Me, this wasn't just about the dinner. This was a pattern. She thrived on spectacle, on making a scene, on forcing me into the role of the responsible adult cleaning up after her. That was the moment I decided to make a move she couldn't laugh off. Something that would show her, crystal clear, that I was finished being her safety net. The plan came together quicker than I expected. Scarlet thought she had time to yell, cry, charm her way back in, but I was already 3 steps ahead. I started by sending a message to HR. Scarlet had bragged more than once about networking with my coworkers. In reality, she was slipping into lunches uninvited, tagging along at company mixers, even DMing clients like she was part of my team. I wasn't about to let that narrative keep building. HR needed to know she wasn't affiliated with the company in any way. I framed it carefully, professionally, and hit send. Then I called my landlord. Scarlet's name was never on the lease, but she had a spare key. That changed immediately. Locks were rekied. Security cameras installed. Next, I boxed up her things, not out of anger, out of finality. Dresses, heels, her endless collection of makeup palettes, all packed neatly and labeled. No drama, no theatrics, just order where there had been chaos. The real moment came the following Friday. Scarlet had called nonstop all week, leaving voicemails that swung from tearful apologies to furious accusations. I hadn't replied once. My silence was louder than any fight we'd ever had. That evening, she showed up at my place, pounding on the door, screaming my name. But when the door opened, it wasn't me standing there. It was a courier. He handed her a crisp envelope, nodded politely, and walked away. Inside was a letter, my handwriting .com and measured. This isn't working. You don't respect me, and I can't keep living like the punchline in your stories. Your belongings are with the doorman. Please don't contact me again. Alex. When she finally saw me that night, it wasn't in the way she expected. Not at my apartment, not in bed, waiting for her. It was at my company's annual follow-up dinner, same black tie crowd. But this time, I arrived alone. Word had already spread about her antics. Clients approached me one by one, saying things like, "Good call, Alex. She wasn't good for your image." Scarlet stormed in halfway through the evening, in that same red dress, mascara streaked from crying. Gasps rippled across the room. She marched straight to me, shaking voice cracking. "You can't just throw me away like this." But the thing was I already had. I stood calmly, adjusted my cufflinks and said, "Scarlet, you wanted independence. You've got it. Don't embarrass yourself further." Silence fell. Her mouth opened, but no words came. For the first time in our relationship, Scarlet had no comeback, no joke, no scene to steal. She turned and bolted, heels clattering against marble floors. That's when I knew this wasn't just about leaving her. This was about reclaiming myself. The fallout from that night was immediate. My phone lit up with notifications before I even made it home. Scarlet had turned to social media, posting vague quotes about betrayal, about men who can't handle strong women, about fake love. Her friends piled on, tagging me, trying to stir a fight. I didn't take the bait. Silence was my weapon, and it drove her crazy. By Sunday, Scarlet was at my apartment again. This time, she wasn't screaming. She was sobbing, clutching one of the boxes I'd left for her. "Alex, please," she begged through the intercom. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was drunk. You know I love you. Don't throw this away." I let the buzzer ring until it stopped. My building's cameras caught her sitting on the steps for nearly an hour before finally leaving. I watched the footage later, not out of cruelty, but as a reminder. This was the same woman who had laughed at me in front of the people I'd worked years to impress. Her desperation only escalated. She sent flowers to my office with handwritten notes. "Remember the good times. You can start fresh." She called my mom, spinning some story about me overreacting. She even showed up at the gym where I trained, throwing herself into my path like some rom-com. "Scarlet," I said flatly, "this isn't a movie. There's no happy ending waiting for us." She clutched my arm, eyes wide, voice trembling. "You don't mean that. You can't mean that. Nothing without you." And that was the saddest part. She didn't want me. She wanted the security I provided, the stability she mocked, until it slipped away. Meanwhile, something incredible was happening. My colleagues and clients, the ones she'd tried to impress, started treating me differently. There was respect in their eyes now. They saw I had boundaries, that I wasn't afraid to cut ties with someone toxic even if it meant walking away from a relationship of nearly 2 years. One client, an older man who'd been quiet the night of the dinner, shook my hand at our next meeting. "The smartest move you've made," he said. "People like that will sink you if you let them." It wasn't just professional validation. Personally, I felt lighter. My apartment was calmer, quieter. No more slammed doors, no more constant roller coaster of moods. I was finally breathing. Scarlet, though, wasn't letting go. The texts kept coming. "Call change. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit drinking. Just give me one more chance." But every message, every plea, every desperate gesture only reinforced what I already knew. My decision had been the right one. And when I didn't answer, when I refused to engage, that's when she finally snapped. The last voicemail she left before blocking herself out of my life was chilling in its own way. "You'll regret this, Alex. You'll see. You'll come crawling back." But the truth was, I'd never felt more certain of anything. A month passed without a word from Scarlet. For the first time in almost 2 years, my life was quiet, peaceful. I could hear myself think again. No constant apologies after explosions, no public performances meant to get laughs at my expense. It's just me, my work, and the steady rhythm of days that didn't revolve around chaos. Then, one Saturday morning, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Alex." Scarlett's voice trembled on the other end. "It's me. Please don't hang up. I just need to say something." I stayed silent. She took a shaky breath. "I get it now. I pushed too far. I embarrassed you. I disrespected you. And I thought you'd always forgive me because you loved me. But you didn't. You walked away. And you were right too." Her words landed heavy. For once she wasn't performing. There was no laughter, no dramatics, just honesty. Maybe the kind that only shows up when someone has finally lost the upper hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'll always be sorry." I didn't respond. After a long pause, she finally said, "Goodbye, Alex," and hung up. That was the last time I heard her voice. In the weeks that followed, I noticed the difference in myself more than anything else. I smiled more. I worked better. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. One evening, at a company mixer, a client introduced me to someone new, a woman named Hannah. She was poised, kind, and most importantly, grounded. No theatrics, no scenes. Just easy conversation. I didn't rush into anything, but for the first time, I felt ready. Ready to move forward without the baggage of someone who had made me question my worth. As for Scarlet, word traveled in small circles. A friend mentioned she'd left the city, chasing some new fresh start. I didn't wish her ill, but I also didn't miss her. Some people are storms. You can admire their energy from afar, but up close, they'll tear your world apart. Looking back, the irony still makes me smirk. Scarlet had shouted across that ballroom, mascara streaked and voice cracking, that I couldn't just throw her away. But the truth, she had handed me every reason to leave, one careless laugh at a time, until walking out was the only option that made sense. The lesson was simple. Respect isn't optional. Love without respect is just a performance, and eventually, the curtain falls. When Scarlet finally realized I wasn't coming back, she was left speechless. And me, I was finally free. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.